Using your EQ is very easy in Pro Tools. First, go ahead and find your EQ plugins. I'm going to go to multi-channel plugin, go to EQ, and I'm going to use a stock Pro Tools EQ, the EQ3 7-band. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the sound, and I can see the input volume coming in at a pretty good sound, a pretty good volume of decibels. I could increase that or decrease that right here, but right now it's clipping. We don't want to clip. Anytime this is red, we don't want to clip. We can go ahead and decrease that back to its normal numbers of 0, 0. And we're going to hit play again. Now what you're looking at right here is in frequency spectrum. This is your parametric EQ. You have your highs, your mids, and your lows. In between each of these bands will be your low mids and your high mids. Each frequency can be manipulated and manipulate your audio. If I have a hi-hat, that's mostly going to be your high and your high mid frequencies. If I have a kick drum, that's going to be your lows and your low mids. If I have a piano, that's going to be pretty much your mids and your low mids. Different instruments have different frequencies, and you want to go in and figure out which frequency works best for whatever sound you're using. Right here, you have your input. You can increase the input, decrease the input sound so it can stop clipping, or you can raise the input volume. Once you finish all of your manipulations right here, you're gonna have a new audio, a new sound, a new vocal, and you want to change the output volume. So the sound that comes out now from this EQ graph back into Pro Tools to be played through the external speakers, you want to have that at a great volume, at a perfect volume, not clipping and not too low. So I'm gonna let these hi-hats play, and what I have right here is the highs. I can go ahead and I can just lift it up, or I could just use the gain. And I can sweep across the frequencies where I want to exactly lift this high shelf I have here. Now, the cool thing about Pro Tools is you can use a high shelf or a high bell. Only the highs and the lows have this feature where you can use a bell or a shelf. Bell, shelf. Bell, shelf. Now, what a shelf is it's going to lift up every single frequency starting at 3.77 kilohertz on. It's going to be lifted. When you have a bell, it's only going to lift that at 3.77 and whatever is surrounding inside of this bell-shaped form. Now, we could change how many frequencies around 377. Right now, it's at 3.70 kilohertz. How many frequencies are being affected by changing the quality? Each bandwidth has a gain, frequency, and a quality on every single parametric EQ that you use. And you can use a quality adjusted from narrow to broad. We can cut off the high frequency. We can cut off any frequency we want by clicking on the in. And what we're going to do is we're going to return it back to Fat 3 settings. Fat 3 settings, boom. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the high mids. We're going to raise the high mids at 2.0 kilohertz. That's right here, 2.0 kilohertz. And we lifted the gain to about +6 decibels. That's a lot of gain lift, but I'm just showing you guys for the matter. We can cut in the same matter, shape, or form. Raise, cut. Now, once we go back to the lows, we can do the same thing. Now, on the lows, it's kind of cool what we can do. We can cut. We can lift. Same shelf type as the highs. Let's go back to Fat 3 default real quick. And let's show you guys, I want to show you guys how the high pass frequency and the low pass frequency effects work. So the high pass frequency, what you can do is you can allow all of the highs to pass and the lows to get cut out. So when you see high pass frequency, don't think of highs passing. Don't think of lows passing. Think of the highs passing. So I'm going to put in, and it's going to go ahead and cut out the lows for as long as I want to cut them out. And all the highs are being read. If it's like this, spaced out in like a grayish type of color, that means they're not being read. They're not being heard. I can switch that to the low pass frequency, but it's going to cut out, since hi-hats are mainly in the high frequencies, when I cut out the highs and make the lows pass, you're going to hear a very distorted, a very low sounding hi-hat. And that's how you use your EQ in Pro Tools. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. It's DJ Lee.